hold down. So
True.
All right, he's going to be here.
Yeah. It's very good into the Sylas.
And the thing about Ziggs as well is he can wave clear for eternity. So if Kassadin needs time to come online, Ziggs can give it to him, even though they are both sort of working against each other.
Mm-hmm. And then you kind of have Renekton and Sett, who are a little bit awkward.
Yeah,
but
there's a bit of polarity in this team composition.
Yeah, I mean...
So we'll see what they do with it, though. Sett does have some setup due to the mid lane dynamic. It's 2 melees and Kassadin Force Pulse.
Mm-hmm.
Plus just a set approach. They have some value there. But the onus to get ahead is oddly not really on DAMWON when you think about it. So this will actually be pretty interesting all around. T1 with a bit of a toolbox team composition. They got a little bit of everything.
Okay, that's good.
You know?
You know, it can fit any situation. You need a screwdriver, there you go. You got one, you need a wrench. You've got one of those too, a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, we got that, yeah.
Yeah, you seem very sure about that.
DAMWON, Renekton, Sett, Kassadin, Ziggs, and Thresh on the side for them. And I am very curious to see how this game is going to unfold, because if DAMWON get ahead, this is very akin to game number 1. There's no way T1 come back. But unlike game number 1, if T1 gets ahead, DAMWON still has insurance policies.
Yeah, so it's even better.
Yeah, much better than game number 1 for them.
Mm-hmm. And that is the scary part about DWG is that all of their players are incredibly skilled. I mean, every single one of them, even Ghost. I mean, showing that he's got a deeper champion pool, even than just the Senna and Ezreal in this game alone. We'll see how the play goes, but they all have really deep champion pools, and their drafting is actually just really good. I feel like Zephyr has reached a new level for DWG at exactly the right time, alongside of all of their players really stepping up to the next tier of play. So it's kind of like that perfect storm all coming together, and that's why DWG look like probably the scariest team I've seen in many regions right now.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely here in the LCK. As we take a look at the runes, it's going to be Conqueror on Kassadin, so not going to be the fleet footwork, which is very common. And he probably feels like he can get away with Conqueror here, especially in this game, because of the dynamic of the matchup. On the flip side, going to be Conqueror versus Conqueror as well up in top lane between Renekton and Jayce. Oh, he missed.
Oh.
Yeah.
GG.
So I think ShowMaker's going to want to really just go next at this point. It's pretty much all she wrote, you know.
Surrender at 2.
Yep.
Yeah, feels bad, but I think he should be okay. Here's an engage on a Ghost. They're going to use the exhaust. They want to blow his flash early on, but he's just going to walk away.
Yeah.
Just laughs at them, and now Effort's going to take a nice amount of damage on the backside. So, nice little engage, but just a trade of a couple of summoners.
And Ziggs is feeling pretty good right now, actually. Teddy has missed a bit of CS. Not the end of the world, but Ghost and BeryL, I mean, they have the wave coming into them, and so Ziggs is sitting pretty comfortable. And you can see Sett is full clearing. Volibear with a little bit more of a defensive clear path.
DWG have not lost a single game when these players are
on these champions.
Champions. It's pretty insane. Notice also that Cuzz was 7-0 on Volibear. So keep in mind, DWG gave him the Volibear. They decided to ban Zoe instead.
Oh! After
Caitlyn Lucian. That's an unfortunate turret shot that Clozer just took there.
And
oh
man, T1 making some mechanical blunders in both of these lanes. And you can see Volibear, I mean, he's going to get the left-hand side Scuttle Crab right now. Clozer's going to come in, find Sett on the right side Scuttle Crab, but when they end up seeing Sett, they saw 16 CS, and so they know that the blue and the Gromp are still up. So T1's players all know exactly where Cannon can and can't be.
Oh, the timing, the flash out of Cuzz, that was not going to work. Canna was just busy autoing the minions with very little mana. And that was the perfect timing, by the way, on the ward for Nuguri. If he was a second later, may have been able to turn something in there for T1.
And all things considered, it's still a pretty good victory for T1, getting the flash away from the Renekton in exchange for just the Volibear's flash. So things are all going pretty well. First dragon of the game is Mountain, so that's a pretty nice pickup. Whoever can end up getting it first. It should be T1 getting it, but Kassadin can't really be understated if this is like going to be a 10-minute first dragon capture, something akin to game number 1 that we ended up seeing. And we can see ShowMaker, he's died 4 times on Kassadin over 6 games. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Casually 17.5 KDA. Clozer, nice little pull there.
Yeah.
I like that. He wants to force a TP and then maybe a follow-up gank.
Yep.
From his team. You can see the pings immediately coming in, but pings also from BeryL. He's barreling down the mid lane here, and he's got his lantern, so coming in to help ShowMaker hit level 6.
And this is something that's pretty much forced, so it's very good lane manipulation by Clozer, who's also retaining his teleport at this point in time. So he's going to be able to recall straight into a lost chapter. Kassadin only able to get Catalyst, didn't really have gold for anything else, and so if you take a look at Sylas, the game timer has passed, he has more farm than ShowMaker had. He's nearing the 1300 mark, so we'll see what Clozer's going to end up doing. Now, he did end up going for a recall, so he had the Doran's Blade and the Darkseer already picked up, and he's going to sustain through into most likely the Lost Chapter, given the matchup.
It's going to be pretty nice. Keep in mind, T1 also picked up that mountain. As you got a trade here in the mid lane. Cannon going to get there first. Forces Clozer to back, as now a trade down on the bottom side. BeryL not wanting to flash, but may have to, but no. Actually will be okay. Ghost able to trade back a bit of damage onto Effort, as now we got a little skirmish between the junglers, but nothing much will come of it, as T1 will control this river.
And T1 are in a pretty good position. They ended up getting the right-hand side Skull Crab. They picked up the first dragon of the game. Another Zenith Blade.
Oh, nearly got him back onto the other side. That would have been crazy. Imagine the synergy.
And ShowMaker actually getting traded on quite heavily. Now, that's a cannon, though. So even though Sylas is recalling, he's going to TP back in. And no, actually, he's not going to go for the Lost Chapter. Also, he's having a recall probably a little bit sooner than he anticipated. He ends up only having 800 gold in the bank, so only picking up a Kindle Gem. And because it's a cannon minion, ShowMaker's not being punished for the recall, and Clozer doesn't even actually commit his teleport because he knows it would be useless, because the cannon minion would tank up so many turret shots. ShowMaker would be able to get back to his lane anyway and not really miss out on too much, and then all of a sudden you're down TP on Sylas. So, bit of an unfortunate circumstance. He is ahead in the XP, though.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about that one. Effort, he's trying to get really aggressive up here on the top side. You mentioned that flash that was blown on Nuguri. He has had to play a bit safer afterwards, and now he just had his ward cleared out. So even stickier of a situation up there on the top side. As with that rotation, T1 thinking about putting pressure on the Rift Herald, maybe wants a bait cannon. Oh, that's not going to land, as the lantern is there. And he gets out, and DWG avoid everything. But that's a nice little trade, as here comes Cannon looking to flash. Trade flash there as Clozer gets away, as the death sentence is going to go wide. The two supports, unfortunately, not able to make those engage abilities work. As in goes Effort really aggressively. They're trying to desperately get on top of Canyon.
Oh!
That's huge damage, but Effort is going to survive, as will Canyon. Canna makes it down here first. That's a big death sentence follow-up with the turret shot hitting, but again, nobody will die in the entire trade, even with all the low health bars.
And that was a super close call, where Effort barely managing to survive right there. Now, they did also get the Senna ultimate out, and so Teddy will not have that available. We'll see it again in the replay, because that was such a close call
well,
for both of these parties. And T1, they might have bit off a little bit more than they can chew, but Sylas, remember, he still had that teleport.
He's got the advantage here in health as well. It's going to turn around the I will be towards T1. They want to fight, though, as DAMWON not in the best spot. The first blood is going to come down, but Volibear will as well. And the Rift Herald's going to be taken by T1 as Effort just going to scoop that one up. DAMWON still looking to take the fight. Effort says, I'll go down. I'll sacrifice myself. As they're trying to give that kill over to ShowMaker here. Definitely a good choice. As just going to wait to hop the wall here and eventually take down this poor support.
Yeah. And Effort trying to buy as much time as he possibly can.
Right next to the Mickey D
yeah.
sign.
Well, she's loving it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So, ShowMaker's the one that gets the kill. They want to accelerate Kassadin as much as they can. And so even though they pick up the Rift Herald, it does come at a cost of helping the superior scaling team get some gold. So if we take a look at the replay, Effort with a lot of moxie going on to the Sett, getting superflex. And honestly, if it's not for the nerfs, I think he dies to the old Sett.
For
so
sure.
that one is pretty interesting. Right here, remember, Renekton has Shield Breaker, which is very big in a fight, but it doesn't really matter all that much. I mean, T1 are just really outmatched in terms of strength here. And Renekton just getting so much value inside of this team fight. And again, they give it over to ShowMaker on that Kassadin to try to accelerate him. Ghost is doing just fine down in bot lane. I mean, this is basically what he does. He plays these 80 carries that, or the marksmen, that can't really be punished. They can farm from a distance, they can be super safe, and then he just passively goes right into mid-game, just farming up and letting the top side of the map and BeryL roaming take over the game.
That's the name of the game for him, and he has taken a nice little lead there. Down on the bottom side as they are pushing in. He's also, the thing about Ziggs also is that he's great at taking turrets, of course, with his passive and then eventually Satchel. So you can put even more pressure down onto your bottom lane that way. The Infernal Drake goes the way of T1. So now they've stacked up a couple of great Drakes early on in the game. It is going to be Cloud Soul, which is not feeling all too great, but it's going to make the Leona and Volibear Sylas engages quite effective, as Teddy unfortunately is being zoned out by the roam from the Leona.
Ghost is almost,
they're trying to burst him down. Teddy extremely squishy, and there is the ultimate right in his face. Easy kill, 2v1. T1 say, well, we got to make something happen up on the top side.
ShowMaker has TP. I don't know.
4v3. Can they do it? They're going to shut down the turret and burst down Nuguri. He'll be the first to go. Canyon going to group them all up. Does a huge amount of damage and will get a kill. As now they're trying to focus down ShowMaker. That is a fantastic stopwatch. ShowMaker trying to get away, but gets sniped down by Clozer on his way out as T1. It was thin, but they made it work. And they're going to get a ton of plates up there in the top side.
So it ends up being a 2-for-1, but remember, you have to factor Senna into this because she was left to her own accord down in bottom. She went down. So all things considered, it's like a 2-for-2. And DAMWON got first turret of the game. So the makeout is pretty close.
Yeah.
And that was very, very thin for T1. We take a look at how this transpired. Just a very nice death sentence. Teddy electing to use his ultimate point-blank range. He has flash, but, I mean, he felt like he was doomed either way. Volibear, turret disable, comes in. Teleport comes through ShowMaker. Nuguri not able to get a lot of value in this fight. He just gets brought down immediately. Effort almost dying, goes into his stasis. and then ShowMaker trying to juggle as much damage as possible before making his retreat, but not quite able to get away against Clozer there. So at the end of the day, it's almost a 1,000 gold lead for DWG.
Yeah.
A little bit more than that, actually.
And that's where that trade comes in that you were talking about. And you have to consider who's picking up the gold as well. I mean, getting a Ziggs this far ahead, this early on, that's pretty great. I mean, they're doing a good job of shutting down ShowMaker at least. You can see that Sylas was able to pick up a nice amount of gold from the play up in the top side. But it's going to be a lot of gold in the pockets of Sylas versus a lot of gold in the pockets of the Ziggs, who is going to scale a bit better. So we'll have to wait and see how they do get here. Also, the game kind of stabilizes from here. A little bit of a trade down on the bottom side. You can see BeryL is thinking about getting on top of that one and potentially joining the fight, but just going to rotate back up to top side. And yeah, I mean, we're sitting back. We still have Kassadin here in the mid lane. T1 trying to push whatever advantage they can early, because they know they have to.
Ooh. And Ziggs just going to clear the wave, and this is buying a lot of time. So, Cloud Dragon's coming up next. Now, normally, I would complain about Cloud Drake. I would say how, well, this dragon's not super exciting, but interestingly enough, because there's a Kassadin, it kind of is. Getting that Riftwalk up, just a couple of seconds sooner, or microseconds even, matters actually a pretty great deal for this champion. And so it's a very big capture for DWG if they can actually manage to get it. Everyone else in the game, their ultimates don't really matter. Maybe you can make an argument for Ziggs, but even then, that's really thin.
Yeah, I mean, the movement speed I think will be pretty nice, but other than that, the ultimates, as you mentioned, not really gonna be, you know, the biggest factor in that one. And we'll have to see. I mean, it looks like Cuzz is going to go for the Rift Herald here. I mean, we still got 30 seconds on the Drake spawning. So I just wonder how much pressure T1 is going to put onto the Drakes if they value it high enough to really force their hand and try to take that away from Kassadin.
Well, 10 seconds until that dragon's up. Nuguri does have teleport available. He already has the Blade of the Ruin King. Positioning is definitely superior for DWG. You can see they're recalling Nuguri. Now, Cuzz is going to summon the Rift Herald. They're going to crash it and get mid-tier 1, but it doesn't matter. You lost the Cloud Dragon. So I really wish we had Kassadin covered right now just to see his ultimate and what the CDR is on it.
Yeah, would have been nice. We're really trying to go deep here, trying to collapse onto Cannon, who is a level ahead, by the way, over Cuzz, even after dying up on the top side. He's got a little bit more farm, but yeah, just a bit of damage on the mid-tier 1 versus picking up that first Cloud Drake, and nothing else really happening. So more scaling for DWG. They get the Drake on top of it. It's got to feel pretty good for them. Ooh, Leandry's second for Ziggs. That could have been a Morello's for the Senna.
Very upset.
And the Volibear and the Sylas, but no, of course not, because LS is casting.
Well, now I think Atlas and Boris are best friends. That's actually a good thing.
Must be. It's been him the whole time.
Yeah. Well, 4 minutes until the next dragon comes up, and I mean, this is just scaling city right now for DWG. All they have to do is just sit back, wait, get the Seraph's Embrace on Kassadin, get the Leandries on Ziggs, and there's no real way for T1's team comp to force any issue. So, with second Herald having been used so recklessly, they don't really have any push threat. There's still some standing gold for DWG and T1 both, respectively, to try to capture. But if you're a T1 fan, you can't be feeling very good right now. This is a much better game state for DWG.
Uh-oh. ShowMaker, really awkward spot. He's going to get stunned up. Second Rift Walk does come out. He's just waiting. And, in fact, the Kassadin is just fine, as he was level 11. So at least the cooldown on that was a little bit shorter. As kind of just casually pushing up down here in the bottom side, you saw that DWG were trying to push top, but didn't end up getting the turret. So T1 will move ahead there in terms of the turrets.
And they're just going to keep wave clearing pretty much over and over. Kassadin now up in top lane, almost has the item completed. He has the Lost Chapter, has the Tear of the Goddess now completed as well. And there's not really much that can be said right now. The only way that action could even happen right now is if someone would freeze. Because the way the lane setups are right now, everyone's just handshaking, the ping pong game. And so T1, it's hard to imagine how they're feeling right now, but it can't be very good because they know that DAMWON's team composition, it's pretty inevitable what's going to end up happening, and they're just constantly gravitating towards it.
Didn't some Marvel villain say some line like, I am inevitable, or something like that?
Boris.
What, Boris?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was in the movies. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Should pay more attention, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of just sitting here. And I did kind of highlight that there is actually a nice amount of healing on the side of T1, and the only anti-healing that they have right now is going to be the Executioners on the Renekton, who, of course, I mean, if he gets into the fray, into the middle of a fight, he can spread that out. I'm just wondering if they're only going to go with that, or will they opt into at least one more anti-healing item?
I mean, I think like if we're looking across the board at all the items right now, we have a bit of Build-A-Bear on Volibear. You have Dead Man's on Sett, which is a standard item that comes in from him. One of the things that does stand out as very peculiar is you see the Kindle Gem on Nuguri. He's going to be going Black Cleaver, but he's not shredding armor for anyone but himself, and there's not a lot of armor on the enemy team. So the value that he's getting is actually going to be less than a Duskblade of Drakthar or a Yumu's Ghostblade at full 10. So it's just a pretty interesting thing there. Now, on the flip side, you had Jayce going Black Cleaver and Senna as well, so they're sort of working against one another there. And again, there's not a lot of armor on the side of DWG either. So Senna, if there was a game to go lethality on her, this could be one of those games because you're getting armor shred from one of your teammates already. And then all of your damage from the get-go is just dealing more than post-shred. So that would have been an option. Doesn't really matter. We got a Cloud Dragon fight.
Oh, that was an instant McHale's. BeryL is just waiting for that one. And this is what they can do. DWG, they could look for hooks and then just do a little bit of poke with Ghost. As okay, he's on the plate, goes wide. And Nuguri's not TPing just yet. He's going to continue, so T1 really have to force the issue.
Ooh, this can get really scary, though. This angle against Ziggs, everyone is just so clumped. Yeah. Look at Ghost.
Ghost going around. We got the hook onto Effort, has to use his Stone Blade.
Oh, man.
ShowMaker now, there is the ultimate. That's a huge amount of AoE damage. Canyon goes in and gets the Haymaker with the stopwatch. Nuguri trying a frontline, but Clozer is pretty massive, and he's doing damage in that backline. BeryL super low, and now DWG.
Oh, no.
Maybe trying to turn this one around, though. ShowMaker is so massive as well, but the damage comes out. Teddy is going to snipe him down, and Ghost was just on a little bit of a run here for quite a while, not part of the fight. As may have been chasing down Clozer, as we see that his dead timer pretty long as well. And he did pick up a kill himself, but relatively even fight there as T1 were really standing up for themselves. But we got the second Cloud Drake in the hands of DWG.
And, oh, I mean, Canna does also raise the turret by himself. He gets that proximity gold, and he has actually a very big item completion for himself once he ends up going back to the top. So let's take a look at this one more time. So Ghost starts this fight very low HP and also missing a lot of mana. He ends up using his ultimate ability, but that's not the value that you would expect out of it, given how T1 was clumped up. There is a complete cluster in the middle right here. Cuzz manages to barely get away. The Superplex comes out, and Canyon actually gets the Cloud Dragon. Ghost just I don't know what he's getting the blue buff for himself so that he can restore the mana. But the presence of mind came in, giving him the mana. So if he was still at the fight with Nuguri, when the mana restore came in, could have maybe been able to do a little bit more. At the end of the day, 2 members left standing on both sides. The Cloud Dragon went the way of DWG, and this isn't even their final form yet. Kassadin still has 3 levels to go, and he has 2 Cloud Dragons amplifying his Rift Walk. Soon he's going to be blinking everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be unstoppable. We saw a little bit of the power already as both the Sylas and the Kassadin, I felt like, were doing insane amounts of work in that fight. Clozer was getting into the back line and really zoning out Ghost until, unfortunately, he got bopped down by Nuguri. And then the Kassadin worked, and he worked well until Teddy, of course, did take him out. And Kassadin definitely going to get stronger and stronger. The Sylas, not quite as good of scaling. And you see that the Ziggs also is doing a really nice job, just getting more gold for his team, able to take down that one by himself.
And the thing is like you're mentioning, the Sylas, he's pretty much out of fuel. He has the stopwatch right now. He's probably going to go into Zanya's next item, and so he essentially already has his 3rd item. He has Fiendish Codex and Stopwatch. Getting the extra bit of armor, the little extra bit of AP, it doesn't dramatically change how he conducts himself in a fight and whatnot, so he's just allocating a lot of gold into finishing that item for slot efficiency, mostly at this point. So he's basically peaked. Kassadin, this is the point where his utility items start coming in. And he's completed Seraph's Embrace, he's nearing 16, has about a level and a half to go because I believe he's been in 14 for a while now. And once he hits that, things just get scary. Ziggs, likewise, never really slowing down. He's picked up the Void Staff, and now either utility items like Banshee's Veil or something can come in, or he can start powering towards yet another strong item.
Yeah.
And this is just the nature of DAMWON's champions. So even though the gold score is only a 1,500 gold lead, a lot of that being diminished by the Infernal and Mountain Dragon, DAMWON are still very far ahead, and T1 are going to need a miracle team fight to sort of get back in this game.
Yeah, the gold, of course, as always, doesn't tell the full story. And even then, DWG do have a decent lead here in the mid-game. And we'll just have to wait and see where the next fight breaks out. We got a minute until the Cloud Drake. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some work getting done there. T1 are trying to group up and take down the Scuttle Crab before the fight does come in. Even rotating very aggressively through the enemy jungle as Canna going back and forth, but he is going to be okay. Clozer catching this wave. Yeah, I think it's just going to come down to that next Cloud Drake fight to see who really is going to take the big step ahead in this game.
And one of the main differences between this fight and the last one is Senna hasn't really changed all that much. She's picked up a Hex Drinker. Zanya's now completed on Sylas, but he had the Stopwatch, he had the Fiendish Codex. It's not like he's getting any new CDR or anything like that. The AP difference, not that big. Utility is still the same. And so Jayce is one of the champions that has changed a lot. I'm not sure if Nuguri is going to be able to complete any of his items before the next fight. I can't imagine so. And you can see ShowMaker didn't actually elect for the Stopwatch, went for the Seeker's Arm Guard for damage and durability, even though it's going to be very slight. And it looks like DWG's going to say, you know what, actually, you guys, you go ahead and get that one.
Oh. Yeah, that's another thing that Ziggs can do really well as the game does come along. And yeah, I mean, as you were saying, they're going to give that one away. Keep in mind that ShowMaker is really close to 16, so maybe they just didn't want to take the risk and say, well, why lose a fight when he's 15? Let's just take the next couple when he's 17 or 18, or at least 16 in the next fights. They're going to scale better anyway. The Kassadin and the Ziggs. 19?
19.
Wow.
Yeah.
League of Legends 2 coming soon.
True. Well, you can see the MR items being picked up now on T1. Hex Drinker even picked up on Jayce. Null Magic Mantle now picked up on Sylas. And he's probably going to start trying to move towards Banshee's Veil or something. And this is where, like, sure, there's not a lot of armor on the enemy team, so Renekton has a little bit more value, especially because T1 clump up so much in the team fights, as we've seen. ShowMaker, I imagine, extremely close to 16 right now on the Kassadin.
Oh, this is... Took a little roller coaster ride there on Thresh's Lantern. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting here. I mean, there's T1 trying to look for fights. And as you can see, they're trying to deny as much vision as possible. They've got their engaged champions in position. But DWG are just totally not playing the game with them. They're just like, okay, I mean, we're just not going to get near you. We have a Ziggs with blue buff now, so
oh,
good luck pushing.
Couple of minions. You can see ShowMaker, the XP, being highlighted.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is it. This is the wave. Oh, what? Oh, the ward? What?
I don't know why they wouldn't prioritize that.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not a good look, I think, personally.
So close. And he is going to pick up that Zhonya's. And a tool.
Yeah, probably going to go for the Void Staff as his next item. Just to pen through the resistances the enemy team's trying to get. Okay, Spectre's Cowl picked up on Sylas, so it actually might be Spirit Visage that he tries to go to match.
Did you see the 0.94 seconds, by the way, on his
You mad, or?
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Well, the next fight is going to be very interesting.
All right.
All Mortius actually picked up, though.
Cuzz, or not Cuzz, Canyon in a really awkward spot, but Effort's actually taking more damage than he's given out.
Oh.
As the Ziggs ultimate was very...
Yeah, not a good look.
Yeah, opportunistic, I would say. ShowMaker's got to be careful now. Every time he hops in, there is a lot of range and damage coming out of Teddy. So
yeah.
It's going to be up to Teddy, I think, to be the first one that says, hey, Kassadin, back off. No bully here. So he's doing a good job of that. Canna also has a nice amount of burst damage to respond to that first Rift Walk. So it's not just going to be like DWG, okay, they've hit level 16. Now they can just, like, roll all over you. But we'll have to wait and see how these fights do go.
Yeah, this is really strange. I mean, right now, T1, this is going to be their best chance to win. They're going to have Mortius on Jayce almost. Certainly before the Cloud Dragon fight. And if T1 end up actually winning that fight, getting Cloud Soul, getting Baron, etc., they should be able to convert into a game win. ShowMaker should not be able to actually get to Void Staff before that fight, so this is going to be one of the best chances T1 has. Now, if T1 loses this fight, it's going to be disastrous, because then Ziggs will get to the Death Cap, Kassadin will get to the Void Staff.
You just hit Death Cap, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So that was really quick.
That was, that's unfortunate.
Ghost has 368 CS, 31 minutes into the game. Guy knows how to farm. That is for sure. So he's going to hit that really important item right before this fight even begins. BeryL being poked out a little bit. And here we go. T1 trying to set up for the Drake. Poking a little bit beforehand as well as they can. Take a look at ShowMaker on the map too. He's looking for a little bit of a flank here on the right side. He just rift walked, but there he goes. He rift walked again.
And he's going to have blue.
Yeah, they're going to give him the blue. Not Ghost. It makes sense.
Oh, he walked over. Oh, it got repositioned.
Yeah. I think Ghost should be looking for a little bit more poke. They're trying to stun down ShowMaker here, and here comes the Cloud Drake. ShowMaker back over the wall.
Yeah.
He's going to have essentially unlimited mana. BeryL with the flash play. That is not going to work. ShowMaker into the Dragon Pit as well. T1, though, taking a ton of poke damage. Look at Teddy. And that is trying to be stunned underneath, but Canyon is going to get focused down. Really low health bars, though. Here's ShowMaker on vision. You can see that T1 know they can't just run at the Dragon, even though they do have the jungle advantage. Not sure why DWG are hitting the Dragon.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You're giving this a chance to be smited down as in goes ShowMaker. Takes a bit of damage, but there you go. Takes out the enemy jungler. Now BeryL in the front line. The stopwatch comes in, and Nuguri is going to be that one. That is front line. And then Ziggs is doing insane amounts of poke damage. ShowMaker, though, not able to get the value, and he's there in the back line. Nuguri being a huge menace, and finally, we get that ultimate once again. As Ghost will go over the wall, but the Cloud Soul will go the way of T1. It's Canna still on the chase here.
So double teleport was on the side of DWG.
Ooh.
And they did not elect to do that. So let's take a look at this one more time. This was very close. ShowMaker goes into the pit, eventually has to dip right back out. Watch Canyon. He goes for Teddy, but not able to quite get it. Doesn't get the haymaker off.
They're doing Baron.
Okay, DWG are, all right, they are starting up the Baron. ShowMaker, I think he has Void Staff for this fight. He did not have that at the last one. This is very scary. BeryL running there from base. What is...
Cuzz just gonna get in there. That is a massive showstopper. Pulls them all in. And down will go Cuzz. Trying to frontline there a little bit for his team, but gets shut down. Clozer now is all alone. They can't funnel through this tiny little path, as now DWG finally find the opening as T1 desperate to get in there and stop the Baron, but they get punished for it.
Think they want to end the game.
Yeah, they're
ShowMaker
pushing.
Has teleport. He can lock up a turret. Canna knows that, okay, it's Ziggs, by the way. So,
yes.
I mean, he is a demolitionist, the likes of which Jayce has never seen. And okay, well, yeah, I think the turrets are gone, guys. I think Electric Bear is not going to be able to save this one.
No, he's going to try.
Ghost?
If he even gets up. Ghost gets pretty low, but there's just not enough damage. In comes the ultimate. They're going to try to focus it down as hit the Nexus, and down it goes. GG, as DWG will